This is Bobby C. reporting from the world's most famous arena. We begin our look at sports with the game of the week. Not even a 23-point lead is safe when LeBron James is in the building.
Never another game in the Garden. Never. This is the best basketball arena in the world to play. So it's never just another game, and I'm always happy to be a part of this and be a part of this crowd. The crowd is amazing. You know, their fans are great, and to be an opposing guy, you know, being able to perform on this stage is always a treat.
We were better defensively. Rotations were good. One-on-one was good, and you know, this team's been playing great basketball. So they think shot 50% in 5 straight games. So to hold this team to 42% shooting and only 8 threes was good for us defensively.
It felt really good tonight, and the shots kept on coming my way. And I played this game for a long time, and I've had many bad shooting nights, and teammates just let you keep on shooting and keep being aggressive. You know, so just kept at it.
I don't care who you are, king. What do you call yourself? King, queen, princess, whatever you are. You know what? We're gonna fight, and nobody out there gonna punk us. So we just went out there, play our game, and I think we're just gonna get better every day.
Well, I'm the king, my wife is the queen, and my daughter is the princess, so we got all 3 covered. It looked like at one point we was going to let it slip away tonight, but the guys off the bench came in, was very resilient, you know, made some plays, cut the lead, you know, going into the 4th, and then when the guys that, you know, was on the bench got back into the game, you know, we just try to keep the momentum going, so that's a good win for us.
Folks, LeBron James happens. Kudos to Knicks rookie Frank Ntilikina for standing up to King James following his critical comments before the matchup of how the Orange and Blue should have drafted Dennis Smith Jr., who instead went to Dallas with the next pick and is an early season leading candidate for Rookie of the Year. Those comments by James were directed more at Phil Jackson, the former Knicks president. As for Ntilikina, the 19-year-old who went 8th in the first round has been a pleasant surprise after missing much of the preseason with injury. He's still very raw, but his defensive ability has already emerged. He looks like he will be a significant piece for the Knicks. And won't it be something if in a few years this team is in championship contention with Kristaps Porzingis and Ntilikina anchoring the group, 2 of Phil's draft picks and an otherwise forgettable stay in the Big Apple as an executive. Like the team's first-round rookie, the Knicks have been a pleasant surprise as well. The club bounced back Wednesday against Utah. Tim Hardaway Jr. scored 26 points, including a key three-pointer with 32.9 seconds left to help the Knickerbockers rally in the second half and beat the Jazz 106-101 on Wednesday night. The 8-6 Knicks are in Toronto tonight to face the 9-5 Raptors. The Knicks then return to the Garden Monday to host the LA Clippers. Across town in Brooklyn, the 5-9 Nets will play host to Utah tonight at 7:30 p.m. at the Barclays Center. The Nets then welcome the 11-4 Golden State Warriors to Brooklyn on Sunday night at 6 p.m. The loaded Warriors have lost 4 games already. What nerve! One of those losses came Thursday night when Kyrie Irving and the red-hot Boston Celtics delivered a 92-88 victory for their 14th straight win. Although Irving has been the toast of the town and in the early season MVP conversation, it was swingman Jaylen Brown who scored a team-high 22 points and twice helped Boston rally from double-digit deficits during the triumph at the TD Garden in Beantown. Brown said he was inspired just hours after learning that his best friend died in Atlanta. The family had encouraged him to play for Trevin Steed. The comeback from a 17-point deficit and a possible NBA Finals preview proves the Celtics belong. Thursday night was a crazy night in the NBA and the NFL. Chris Paul returned to Houston. Fresh off injury, he helped spark the Rockets in a 142-116 win over Phoenix. Yes, that's the correct score. James Harden netted 33 of his 48 points in the first half, and Houston rolled to a franchise record 90 points in 2 quarters. They scored 90 by halftime. Wow. On Thursday Night Football, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Tennessee Titans were locked in a goodie through 3 quarters. But unlike the Rockets, the Steelers waited until the 4th to unload on the Titans. Star wide receiver Antonio Brown did the heavy lifting by scoring 3 touchdowns as the Steelers reeled off their 5th straight win. Well, for the first time this season, I picked the outcome of the Jets game incorrectly. Gang Green did not do what I said they would do, and that's win in Tampa Bay last weekend. Instead, the Jets go into the bye week 2 games under 500 as opposed to 500. A hugely disappointing defeat to the Bucs. Jets dropped the matchup 15-10 in a battle of poor quarterback play where the Jets' former signal caller, Ryan Fitzpatrick, although still Fitz tragic, still did more than Josh McCown to help Tampa Bay improve to 3-6. The Jets return to action next weekend at home when they welcome Carolina to MetLife Stadium for a 1 p.m. kickoff. I may have been wrong about the Jets, but I wasn't entirely wrong about the Giants. I don't know what's sadder, to be honest. The G-Men lost 31-21 to the previously winless San Francisco 49ers. The Giants look terrible in San Fran, and although I was concerned about them coming in, the only thing I can't figure out right now is why the Giants didn't follow through on me calling for the firing of Ben McAdoo after the possible loss. They look lifeless, especially on defense. McAdoo held a quote-unquote long, hard, honest meeting on Wednesday with his players on their first day back to work this week. The meeting was more to the point and critical, a different approach than the Giants are used to. Janoris Jenkins totally looked like he gave up. Needing to hold players accountable for their effort level in a lost season, McAdoo should punish Jenkins by keeping him on the sideline this Sunday against 6-3 Kansas City. That game gets rolling at 1 p.m. Our BronxNet cameras will be in the building. I would hope the Giants show some mettle, but I wouldn't count on it. The G-Men look increasingly bound for one of the top 3 picks in the NFL draft. On the ice, the Chicago Blackhawks cooled off the New York Rangers with a 6-3 victory Wednesday night. The Broadway Blue Shirts are in Columbus tonight and home for Ottawa on Sunday. A UFC featherweight championship fight between Chris Cyborg Justino and Holly Holm will take place at UFC 219 on December 30th in Las Vegas. Officials announced the 145-pound title bout Thursday. The promotion has not yet determined if it will serve as the main event, with former champion Ronda Rousey still inactive and possibly retired. Justino Holm is easily the biggest fight to make in women's mixed martial arts. The UFC is coming off an amazing night at Madison Square Garden 2 weeks ago, where the great George St. Pierre took care of Michael Bisping. Former middleweight champion Bisping has long been one of the more outspoken voices when it comes to the black eye performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs. So you know the Count would have something to say regarding Anderson Silva's latest failed drug test, which forced him out of his fight against Kelvin Gastelum at UFC Fight Night 122 on November 25th in Shanghai, China, and paved the way for the brash Brit to take his place. Bisping will be back in the octagon twice in the same month. That shows some moxie. On the baseball diamond, Brett Gardner has always had plenty of courage and pinstripes. The outfielder was named the Yankees recipient of the Heart and Hustle Award presented by the MLB Players Alumni Association. It's designed to recognize active players who demonstrate a passion for the game of baseball and best embody the values, spirit, and tradition of the game. The Heart and Hustle Award is the only MLB award voted on by former players. For his part, Gardner has been the Yankees rep in 2010, 2013, 14, 15, and now 2017. No surprise for another big award as well. Aaron Judge is your American League Rookie of the Year. He broke Mark McGwire's rookie home run record by hitting 52 to lead the American League. He also led all rookies in games played, plate appearances, RBIs, walks, on-base percentage, WAR, and obviously home runs. The 6'7" right fielder became the first rookie since Ted Williams to finish with 100 walks, 100 RBIs, and 100 runs in a season. But it wasn't enough to take home the MVP. That honor went to Houston second baseman Jose Altuve. Altuve got the best of Judge in the ALCS, and now he's beating him out for the AL MVP too. Altuve won the award less than a month after the Astros won the World Series, as Judge couldn't finish off his historic season with more hardware after capturing the AL Rookie of the Year award earlier in the week. In the end, it wasn't close, as Altuve got 27 first-place votes and 405 points, while the Yankees right fielder got just 2 first-place votes and 279 points. LA Dodger phenom Cody Bellinger won the NL Rookie of the Year like Judge, another unanimous selection, while the Cy Youngs go to Washington's Max Scherzer in the National League and Cleveland's Corey Kluber in the AL. The NL MVP went to Miami's Giancarlo Stanton, only the second player to win the award on a losing team in history. Back here in the Bronx, there's still no Yankee manager, too. Yankees owner Hal Steinbrenner said he agreed with general manager Brian Cashman's decision to fire manager Joe Girardi, and went as far to say the same move might have been made even if the team had won the World Series. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for a moment of thanks in the days leading up to Thanksgiving and the current New York player I am most thankful for this season. Obviously, Aaron Judge was the best present or gift any Yankee fan in the Bronx could have asked for this season. But with baseball falling a little short in the BX, 1 game short to be exact, as in 1 game away from the Fall Classic, the one player that gets the nod this November, the most thankful player, at least in my book, in New York, has to be the emerging Kristaps Porzingis. I can't say I was sold on him when he was drafted, but boy, oh boy, he certainly looks like the real deal at 22. I think the Knicks may have found their savior. In the end, as we get closer to Thanksgiving, be thankful for all of your sports teams, even the losing Giants and Jets, and take a moment to reflect on another year. Be especially grateful for your family and your friends and everyone but the 5'6" Jose Altuve, who ruined the World Series for the Yankees and now the American League MVP for Aaron Judge. No turkey for you, my friend. No, that's your sports. I'm Bobby C.